ball game. Mike Patrick, Dick Vitale.
Great to have you with us from the Thriller Dome in Atlanta. A must-win, Dick, for Georgia Tech.
Well, you know, Georgia Tech, Mike, a different team on this floor. They're 11-1. Shoot 44% from the trifecta here, 22% on the road.
Nelson, a little jump hook, gets an air ball, and here come the Blue Devils. Blue Devils, second in the ACC in assists. Redick for three. Oh.
I'll tell you, can't allow him to square his body. They got to find him. In fact, before the game, Paul Hewitt told me his #1 priority, play the perimeter shooters of Duke.
The UPS starting lineups for both ball clubs. Paul Hewitt has slightly an advantage with the home court and his young ball club. They have not played well on the road. Neither has Duke, in fact, until that Virginia win. They had lost 4 straight on the road in the ACC. And there's Nelson, who has worked his way back in the starting lineup with his first bucket.
Well, he's been playing well lately. Got back into the lineup as the ACC Rookie of the Year last year from out of Florida. Very physical player. They need his presence inside. Trying to establish Sheldon Williams as well on the interior. Had a big game in the first matchup, 18-12 against this basketball team. You saw him against Virginia. He was sensational.
He's been sensational the last few games he's played. Redick with a runner won't go. Nelson with a long rebound. There's the outlet. Lewis, pull-up jumper, bricked it.
He can shoot that shot. Normally he makes that as a team. As I said, they shoot 44% at home from the trifecta. What a difference when they go on a road. 0-9 on the road, Mike. Won 1 game on a neutral when they got a chance to play at Madison Square Garden and beat Marist.
Williams against Bosh. Nice matchup here. Bosh with a block.
Leads the conference in block shot. Very versatile. My choice as the diaper dandy of the year in the ACC.
He makes it look so easy, so incredibly smooth. Jarrett Jack, who has really elevated his game in the last few weeks. Here are the UPS starting lineups for Duke. It's Duhan and Redick in the backcourt. Jones and Williams up front along with Sanders, who doesn't do much offensively for them. Georgia Tech has Jack Lewis, Elder Nelson, and Bosh.
Elder's very explosive scorer. He can score shooting the 3, attack the basket. They've lost 3 games in a row as he converts the free throw, Jack. And in the 3 games they've lost in a row, 37% shooting from the field and 31% from the threes. Take a look at his last 7 games here, Jack. Really stepping up offensively.
He has doubled his scoring. Offensive rebound to B.J. Elder, the veteran on this team. He dumps it low to Nelson. Tied up by Williams. Got the shot off and drew the foul. Nelson is a fighter.
He is a tough kid. Gives him a lot of tenacity on the inside. Nice drive by Elder to dump the ball to the interior.
And that's 2 quick ones on Casey Sanders.
You know, how good have they been at home, Mike? Listen to these numbers. They blew out Carolina by 20, Virginia by 20, North Carolina State by 24, beat Maryland on this floor. They are absolutely a different team at the Thriller Dome.
Dick, as far as I'm concerned, it is the youth, and Paul Hewitt knows it, especially when you have a freshman point guard for Paul Hewitt like Jarrett Jack. It takes time to understand the system, to know what kind of pressure you're going to be at on the road, and their shooting percentages are just dramatically different.
Yeah, really adjusting to playing in the foreign facilities, and you saw Paul Hewitt 0-5. They've lost their last 13 in a row to Duke, Georgia Tech.
Dante Jones couldn't get inside, kicks it back to Duhan.
Man-to-man defense. Duhan has struggled most of the year shooting the basketball. Look for leadership out of him. Dante Jones' last 4 games on the road is 11 for 42. Been super at home.
Horvath. That ball bounced right to Williams. He's blocked by Nelson. Williams got it back and draws the foul. Williams, talk about a warrior inside.
Yeah, in that first matchup, he had 18 and 13. Now watch the touch pass on the inside. See the good awareness? That's just alertness. They got to take that up strong. Good second effort. Out of Oklahoma, gets contact right there, gets fouled. Now goes to the line.
Sheldon Williams, the last time they played, had a breakout game and then went ahead and established his career high right after that against Virginia with 20 and 8. In his last 4, he's averaging almost 12 points, 8.5 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks a game.
He played brilliantly against Maryland. especially early in that game. He gave them balance by giving them post position inside. Hey, what about the Terps? They're just blowing people away at home. By 40. Just beat Clemson by 40. Blew out Wake Forest. Blew out North Carolina by 40.
Beat Carolina by 40. The worst ACC loss in Carolina history.
What a loss they had last night. Heartbreak Hotel. NC State was 22 for 22 on the foul line, and Carolina was 7 for 19.
Georgia Tech leads by a point. This is Bosh. He can handle it out there. Nelson has position against Horvath, and Lewis can't find him.
They got to get Bosh some touches, some good touches. He's got to play with a lot of attention on. He's got to move a little better without the ball.
Elder, tough drive, can't hit the shot. Loose ball picked up by Lewis. Short-armed that follow, and then couldn't save it. You may not see a bigger disparity at home and on the road than these numbers.
Wow, look at those
down
numbers.
17 points. Look at the three-point shooting, 45 to 25, and the rebounds are 10 a game different, home and road.
Incredible.
Right now, neither one of these teams shooting well. Georgia Tech 1 out of 5. Duke 1 out of 4. That was Redick's three-pointer.
The major difference is the ability to shoot the basketball at home, the comfort zone. They're so comfortable here shooting the basketball with the swarm going nuts. Student body.
Dante Jones out of the corner, can't hit it. Jack has become more of a scoring threat lately. Can't hit that one, and both teams stone cold in the first 4 minutes.
Well, you know, Jack a little bit more aggressive on the offensive end. Getting familiar with the system.
Both teams playing wicked interior defense.
Both really not showing a lot of patience on the offensive end to get a good shot.
Elder, long three, won't go. Bosh. That's going to be on Bosh coming over the top, and that will be 2 on Chris Bosh. That's exactly what happened to him in the game at Duke. He got 2 quick fouls, had to spend a lot of time on the bench, came out the second half, got 2 quick fouls, and had to sit down, and that was the only game he's not been in double figures this year.
Yeah, had 5 points in that game and only played 22 minutes. They can't afford to have him sit next to Mr. Hewitt. Their bench has been non-productive. In the last 3 games, their bench has been outscored 69 to 11. The starters have had the edge, but the bench has not produced.
Ewing with a lob. Nice pick by Nelson.
Not a good look. Not a good look right there. Telegraphed that pass.
Ewing come off the bench and commits a turnover. Knocks that one out of bounds. 15:43 to go first half of play from Atlanta. It's Georgia Tech by 1.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship on ESPN and ESPN2.
By Staples. Get back time. Go to Staples. And in part by Mercedes-Benz. Located on the web at NBUSA.com.
Georgia Tech on top early. It's 5-4 over the 5th-ranked team in the nation, the Duke Blue Devils. Welcome back to Atlanta, everybody. You always like mom's home cooking. So did I. But this is ridiculous. In the ACC this year, it's almost 4-1 home wins over road wins.
Well, you know what I think's happened, Mike? The fan frenzy across America has really given the home team that impetus, given them that adrenaline that makes them really come here and play at another level. When they play on their floor, they're in a comfort zone. And that comfort zone has really accelerated across America, not only in the ACC. It is tough, baby. I mean, it is tough to win away from home.
And they are well on their way to a record pace, almost 25 percentage points higher than it's ever been in the ACC.
I mean, you look at the margin of victory by, when you think of Georgia Tech's wins here, as we said earlier, 20 over Virginia, 20 over Carolina, 24 over NC State.
Shenshire is in for the first time for Georgia Tech.
He's a finesse player from out of Australia, big 7-footer. Pretty good touch around the basket.
But a lot of blocks inside. Shenshire has this one, and he is tied up by Shavlik Randolph, and the possession arrow will give the ball to Duke. The Blue Devils hit their first basket 20 seconds into the game. They haven't scored since, except for a free throw.
Mike Krzyzewski lost so much, but he and Gary Williams, when you think about it, losing 6 guys to the NBA, and yet the program rolls on. They just put in new people, and they win.
Says something about those two programs, doesn't it?
Winning mentality.
Dante Jones trying to slash inside. Again, good defense by Nelson. Kept the arm straight up. Lewis sprinting. Oh, what a block, Dante Jones! Holy cow!
I'll tell you, a defensive stopper. Last year, he was their defensive guy. This year, he has demonstrated more offense with the departure of Boozer, Dunleavy, and Jason Williams.
You know what? I've never seen a better 5-4 game.
Take a look right here. Now, watch this block. Look at a great timing, excellent timing. I mean, he was an outstanding defender even when he was at Rutgers.
Each team has 2 blocks so far. Each team has 1 field goal. Ismail Muhammad is in for the first time for Georgia Tech as they go full court pressure.
He gives them an athlete, very athletic. They got to get some point production off their bench. If they're to win here today, Georgia Tech, somebody on the bench has got to contribute. They got to really have somebody step up, whether it be Shentrim, Muhammad.
Jones got it.
I'll tell you, he's asserted himself. He's a member of my All-ACC team. I'm going to reveal it later, but I got to have Dante Jones on that team.
Their leading scorer and their leading rebounder. Muhammad draws the foul. ESPN NBA Wednesdays continues tonight after this game. John Stockton, Karl Malone and the Utah Jazz go up to Minnesota to take on Kevin Garnett and the Timberwolves as both teams continue to push toward the postseason. NBA Wednesdays on ESPN tonight at 9 Eastern Time. That last foul was on Ewing. That's the first on the sophomore from Missouri City, Texas.
Well, Utah, has Mr. Harpring in that lineup, former Georgia Tech superstar. His sister now plays on the women's team, which will get in the NCAAs this year. They're doing a great job. His jersey retired up on top. There it is, number 15. Hey, I'll tell you this. Tracy McGrady and certainly Kobe Bryant have been sensational. But if I had to vote right now, player of the year, I love in the NBA. You're going to see him in the next game. All-around player, Mr. Versatility, Kevin Garnett. Just absolutely super.
Tremendous season. 7-6 Georgia Tech. Another block. The foul will be on Lewis.
Nice look by Duhan, bringing the ball to the inside. Shavlik Randolph catches it, goes to the basket, but Duhan, they want leadership. They want leadership out of this kid. Head up, he's got to find the open man. There he is, driving, drawing, and dishing the rock. Randolph, contact on his body.
It has hurt his scoring this year. He is a much better shooter than he has shown this season. Coming out of high school, he was regarded as one of the best pure shooters to come out of high school in a long, long time. But you can see that shooting touch start to return in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, Chris Duhan was picked by all the coaches preseason to be the potential player of the year in the conference. Bottom line is he's 17 for 54 from the floor in his last 5 games. You look at his numbers, shooting percentage has dropped. I think a lot of it is shot selection.
Elder got caught in too deep and knocked out of bounds by Duke. We're tied at 7.
Say, Paul Ewing brought some good young players to this program. If they could all stay intact, I think they're going to be a major factor next year.
There's the lob inside. Redick knocked Muhammad off the ball and may have gotten away with one there.
Good man-to-man defense by Duke. Duke getting better and better, Mike, as the season progresses.
Yes, they are.
And that's what you like to see out of a club. Getting better and
by
better.
Muhammad. Even guys like Duhan, who you look to for experience, had a terrible time with his defense earlier in the year, and he's really picked it up.
Well, he went to the bench. Coach K wasn't happy with his performance. Put him on a point a little bit. Woke him up.
Very physical game right now. More full court pressure. Redick gets it to Ewing.
By Ewing, one of the best 6 men in the game.
Randolph walks.
Ewing has been sensational off the bench against North Carolina State in their last game. He had 4 steals and 18 points and played brilliantly. Mr. Versatility.
Getting a lot more minutes as the season wears along.
Well, he started the first 7 out of the first 8 games and then lost the starting job on January 5th to J.J. Redick. And he's come off the bench and been very productive.
Schenscher doesn't go up strong and has it blocked again. Now there is a 7-1 center who is really soft in the middle.
Well, that's where he's got to work. He's got to get stronger physically and attack the basket a little bit more than what he demonstrated there.
And he showed last year as a freshman that he's got some offensive skills.
He's got good touch, good hands.
Randolph, double team down low. Good block by Schencher. Jump ball situation. Possession arrow gives it to Georgia Tech. I tell you what, we've only had 7 points for each team so far in this game, but this has been entertaining.
I think it's been a defensive battle, no doubt about it. Both clubs come in. High-power offenses. Take a look right here. Duke shooting 2 for 9. Georgia Tech 1 for 11. I mean, we're talking 3 for 20, man. That's Brick City.
Well, when you're getting half of them blocked, it's tough to get them to go in. Both teams trying to get the ball inside, and both teams playing brilliant defense. But not that time. Didn't handle that well. Muhammad lost it out of bounds.
Ball by Mr. Maxwell with the striped shirt. You ready for this? People out there, what does he do in his major living? He's an orthopedic surgeon. He did 2 surgeries today. And here he is blowing a whistle. Asheville, North Carolina. Somebody sitting in a room watching the game saying, hey, that's the doctor operating on me. He's not doing it for money, I can tell you that. He's doing it because of the passion and love for hoops.
Maybe he could operate on your golf game.
Oh, I need a lot of help.
Redick.
Bingo. I mean, I'm telling you, if he comes off that screen, you better step out and get in his face.
J.J. Redick has hit 2 3-pointers, and Duke is up by 3.
I think Jones really enjoys playing defense. You can see his eyes, just loves it.
Muhammad had that one knocked away, fights for the rebound, and hustled to get it back.
Watch J.J. Redick. 3 comes off that screen. I mean, that is an NBA 3. That's beyond an NBA. He shot that from Marietta, Georgia.
You know what occurs to me, Dick? His form is so perfect that when he misses one, you're disappointed. Just as a basketball fan to watch the kid.
Exactly. You expect it to go in every time he releases it.
Schencher takes the inbound. Muhammad, nice backdoor bounce pass. Then they get it to Nelson, and Nelson is mugged by Williams. That's going to be 2 on Sheldon Williams. And Georgia Tech is doing all this without C.Bosh, who's been on the bench for quite a while with his 2nd personal foul.
Well, as you said earlier, in the first matchup, he also went to the sideline. As you look at Mr. Bosh, outstanding numbers this year, leads the conference. He played 22 minutes in the first matchup, and the only game he wasn't in double figures, only 5 points. 0 for 2 from the field. Can't score if you're sitting on the pond.
And he got the 2 tonight, 4 minutes in. He had them 8 minutes in the first game. Nelson with the free throw line hits the first, the sophomore out of Fort Lauderdale. And his numbers have gone back up since he worked his way back in the starting lineup.
He played at St. Thomas Aquinas High School down there in Fort Lauderdale area. Led him to the state championship. Had an outstanding year last year. Was the ACC Diaper Dandy of the Year.
Julius Hodge finished a close 2nd. Nelson hits them both.
They've had so many outstanding freshmen over the years during the Bobby Evans era. Oh, my, you think of Kenny Anderson, Stephon Marbury, Dalrymple, Price. I mean, the beat goes on and on.
6 points for Nelson in this ballgame. Duke by 1.
Good man-to-man defense.
Redick got caught up and tossed it away.
Good job on the defensive end. Paul Hewitt's got them ready to play.
Nobody has had more ACC Rookies of the Year. Nelson the last.
I think they're going to have another one this year. I really do. I think that C.Bosh is going to get that award, even though the conference is loaded this year with outstanding freshmen. You go to Wake Forest with Gray and Williams. You go to North Carolina with McCants and certainly Raymond Felton. A lot of good freshmen in this league.
The young man Justin Gray has shown me a lot coming back from that broken jaw. Bosh is back in there. Got it to Nelson. Now this is a gamble by Paul Hewitt, putting Bosh back in at the 12-minute mark.
I think he's got to do it. I think you got to win now, Mike. You can't worry about him sitting on the pine. He's got to play. He's a finesse player. He's got great feel, instinct. Very versatile, smooth.
Jones. Nelson got a piece of it perhaps, but it still went in.
Yeah, smart play by Jones. Took the ball right in traffic toward Mr. Bosh, knowing that he couldn't give him a great effort on the defensive end.
See if they get back to Nelson again. He's the only man that has a field goal for Georgia Tech so far.
Nelson lays some big screens.
Elder trying to penetrate. Had it blocked from behind by Dante Jones. Great passing. Ewing puts it up. Can't hit it. Ewing tried to keep it alive. Nelson had it. And he's fouled from behind by Horvath.
Trying to get some good ball movement in transition. You know, B.J. Elder's got to give him point production. Give it to Morgan County high school in Madison, Georgia, not heavily recruited, had 22 against Duke, 23 against Maryland, 24 also in a game against North Carolina State.
This isn't just a winning routine. It's also years of great coaching. No one can reach their full potential alone. To help achieve your goals, talk to your advisor about Oppenheimer funds. The right way to invest.
What's brown to me? One word. Mahoney. Mahoney does the work of three.
And you're early on off the turnover. Jerry McNamara, teamwork, you go to the hoop. He throws it down. Syracuse by 6. They tied with Pittsburgh, a couple of Big East-West guys.
All right, Trey, here we've got a one-point game, and it has been defense at both ends of the court.
Yeah, it's been defense, defense, defense. Block shot. There's a rejection. Take it to the goal, score. There's another rejection. Thou shalt not enter thy lane. Keep the ball out of the 3-second area. Really a great effort by both clubs on the defensive end. Very aggressive defensively.
Georgia Tech feels like it's playing for its life right now. At 12-11, they have 4 conference games to go before the tournament. The consensus seems to be they need to win all of them.
Well, you know, when you're talking about an NCAA berth, they probably got to do that, plus maybe win a game or 2 in the tournament. However, NIT, remember, you got to be at least 500 for the NIT. Last year, they didn't get in at 15 and 16.
Nelson, the dominant scorer. Here's Bosh. That one somehow rattled out. That was halfway down.
I could not believe that came out, Mike. He's got long arms. He's long at 6'10". Leads the conference in field goal percentage. Second in think of this kid. Second in rebounding. First in block shots. First in field goal percentage.
Dante Jones fouled on the way. And ESPN will have continuing coverage of the Single Elimination World Golf Championships Accenture Match Play Championship tomorrow and Friday, 2 Eastern, and Saturday at 10:30 Eastern. For the first time ever, the tournament will use a bracket format. Log on to ESPN.com, print out your bracket, keep track of the upsets on ESPN and ABC this weekend.
And you got
fouls on Muhammad.
That's a 3S man in that tournament. Tiger Woods, super scintillating, sensational.
I believe that foul is going to be on Nelson. That'll be his first. It was entertaining to see you break down the 64-player field. I've never known a 45 handicapper who was so good at capsule comments about golf.
Hey, 50 handicapper, you kidding me? 45. You're being generous, man. I had a lot of fun there.
I talked to somebody who played golf with you a couple of weeks ago. Dick said it was the experience of their life.
Mr. Goodell. Freddie Goodell, yeah.
Now, he didn't say it was a good experience. He just said it was an experience.
I'll tell you, let me tell you about his game, okay? Let me tell you about his game. Nah, he was pretty good.
Horvath hits a couple of free throws, 2 points. And it's 14-11 Duke over Georgia Tech.
You know, Horvath and Sanders give him a lot of experience in terms of the contributions. One on the defensive end, one can make threes. Sanders could play certainly on the defensive end. He's got Jones on the wing. Missed him.
Duhan got the screen from Horvath at the top. Now gives it back to Ewing.
One thing about Duke, you usually see great spacing, 15, 17 feet apart, so you can't get a lot of help defensively. Spread the court.
Duhan gets it back with 11 on the shot clock.
Boy, Ewan's got his kids playing defense here tonight. They're really working hard on the defensive end.
Elder has been working hard on Duhan. Air ball. Georgia Tech on the run. McHenry with a miss. Nelson, another rebound and the foul. Nelson has been brilliant in this half. 10 points, 5 boards.
What a great effort right there. He didn't have the angle, yet he was able to create that opportunity. Just working hard. Nelson.
Horvath. Duke by 1. Duhan trying to penetrate. Lost it. Good defense by Jarrett Jack. Here's McHenry, and McHenry walks.
McHenry lifts his pivot foot. Their bench really was an article today in a paper about it. 69-11, been outscored in their 3 losses. Now watch Nelson working the glass. Here he is, hustling, scrapping. I mean, there he is now, going to utilize the glass. goes to the other side, gets the good use of the backboard.
He is still the only Georgia Tech player with a field goal. The team is hitting 3 out of 18. He's hit 3 of 6.
Wow. Rest of the club 0 for 12. Hey, J.J. Redick not getting a lot of good looks.
Dante Jones with a miss. Williams with a follow. It's Judgment Week presented by Cisco Systems, and Duke on top of Georgia Tech here in Atlanta by 3 as we reach the 8:25 mark. Jones goes for another steal and knocked it out of bounds.
Sheldon Williams got good offensive rebound as you look at the shooting. I mean, it's been Ice City, man. 5 for 16 and 3 for 18. Wow, 8 for 34. I mean, I could go out there and make those 8 for 34.
Yeah, you can shoot 8 for 34.
Exactly. Nobody's guarding me. As I look at Paul Hewitt, did a great job at Siena, outstanding recruiter and an outstanding assistant coach when he was at Villanova.
Dick, as we have a stoppage in play, take a look at Nelson. If we can get a shot of Nelson on the court, he is absolutely gassed, but there is no way Paul Hewitt is taking him out of there. He's the only guy who's made a basket for, but he has 5 rebounds in the first half.
I'll tell you, he's worked hard to get back into that starting lineup. He was struggling earlier this year, trying to find a place. I tell you, a big adjustment coming in with new kids, especially when you start a freshman at the point guard slot. Then your best all-around player, basically, when you look at a kid like Bosh, a freshman as well, even though B.J. Elder has a great potential.
Jim Burr was over at the scorer's table. We're still not sure why that delay. There's the starters by class 98 by freshmen and sophomores. Break out Dante Jones.
Dante with a big dunk. He's got one of the dunks of the year. I read a note today by Wes Durham, who does a great job on radio with his son, and he said the dunk of the year was Jones, I guess, against Virginia.
Oh, it was a monster. 18-13. Check it. Duke on top of Georgia Tech with 8:11 to play. With so many departed great players this year, how tough is it going to be to pick the top 5 for the all-conference?
Well, you know, there's mine. I don't know if you agree with me or disagree with me, Mike, but I go certainly with Josh Howard, Dante Jones. I think Steve Blake's been brilliant. And with Scott down at Clemson and Hodge all around. The one kid I'd put as my 6th man is Nicholas from down here in Maryland. And my freshman of the year, Bosh. And my coach of the year would be Skip Prosser.
Amen.
I don't think anybody would have anticipated them to have the kind of year they've had. But I don't want to forget Nicholas. He's going to be part of that group, but you can only pick 5.
He's done a terrific job. It's going to be a foul on Muhammad, and he and Dante Jones were really tied up. They give the foul to Muhammad. Dante Jones got away with a big, looked like he just had a handful of his head.
I'll tell you, Dante, look at the contact right there. Dante just had a little battle also with Hodge in the last game. Caught an elbow. They called the technical on Hodge in that game. Hodge made a big shot last night. Clutch. 8 seconds to go in the game. He nails one to send it to overtime.
Paul Hewitt making his point.
Paul Hewitt's a great communicator. A teacher, understands the game.
Williams, nice move to get by Nelson, but he walked.
He took an extra step, no doubt about it. But he is certainly being much more aggressive down in that low post.
He gives them that physical presence inside that they had lacked at the start of the year. 18-13 Duke.
They have Joey Harrington now. They have James Stewart now. You know, Detroit's not a bad team. All they need is like the final piece of the puzzle. I think they ought to change their uniforms. 2003, Lions. Let's go, Barry. Come on back. You're not that old.
Rip it and rip it? Heck yeah. I think it's a great way to start a hole. With the bank. I don't think it'd be nearly as much fun if you putted first.
ESPN. Proud home of the
Hi, Brad Tonkin for Ron Tonkin Toyota. Looking for a truck? We've got a great selection of Tacomas and full-size Tundras, both rated best in class in initial quality by J.D. Power and Associates. And right now, get 0% financing or $1,500 cash back on a new Tundra. Or you can get a new Tacoma with 1.9% financing or $500 cash back. So come on down to Ron Tonkin Toyota today. You'll find us out 122nd Way or at Tonkin.com. All for the love of cars.
At 24 Hour Fitness, you'll find everything under one roof, including all the latest classes, from yoga to cycling to kickboxing. Call 1-800-204-2400 today and get 2 for 1 or 50% off for you. There are month-to-month memberships. We even have kids clubs. Call 1-800-204-2400 now for the last days of this offer. We have over 300 locations and one near you. 24 Hour Fitness. Why go anywhere else?
Trey Wingo here with you. Let's get you updated on what's going on between Pittsburgh and Virginia Tech. Panthers going for back-to-back 20-win seasons for the first time since the late 80s. A Brandon Knight 3 would help. Pittsburgh's beginning to pull away a little bit. They lead by 8. Meanwhile, Virginia and Ohio. Cavaliers in a tough game. Ohio by 1. Mike and Dick, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Trey. 7:43 to go first half of play. A really low-scoring affair here with Duke on top of Georgia Tech. And we'll update our Star Watch for you, and it's not much of an update. The Stars aren't doing a whole lot. Redick hit 2 threes. Bosh has been hampered by fouls, picked up 2 in the first, about 4:15. Spent a lot of time on the bench. He's in there right now. Nelson lost the ball. Williams, excellent defense, and calls for the timeout and gets it. Sheldon Williams, great job.
Yeah, tremendous job of hustling. They got to find a way to get some more touches to Bosh. Well, Bosh is a typical young player with attention coming his way. Has to learn to move a little better without the basketball. That's what our kids have to learn.
ESPN's NBA Wednesdays continues tonight after the game. John Stockton, Karl Malone, and the Jazz go to Minnesota to take on a possible MVP candidate, Kevin Garnett, and the Timberwolves as both teams continue their push toward the postseason. It's NBA Wednesdays on ESPN tonight at 9 Eastern. There is the young man out of Dallas, Texas, Chris Bosh, consensus high school All-American.
His mom in the house today. Normally plays very well when his mom is here. They got to get B.J. Elder going. I mean, the guy has got some great numbers this year. Second in the league and shooting the 3.
Hey, Dick, they got to get anybody going. They're 3 out of 18.
I know, Elder's 0 for 3. I'll tell you one thing. Both these clubs really are good offensive teams. That's what's really the shock. Defense has not been their forte. Even though in the last game against NC State, they forced 24 turnovers. Duke did a great job defensively. They're getting better defensively.
Yes, they are. Bosh couldn't handle that loose ball underneath, and Duke will get the ball out of bounds with 7:12 to go first half.
And the crowd's been kind of quiet. They're waiting for something to happen offensively to get a lift.
Sanders got the roll. Sanders, they want to work on Bosh. Now, that's Mike Krzyzewski saying, let's go for that 3rd foul.
Yeah, that's smart. You want to take the ball at him. He is demonstrating his versatility, a good handle for a big player. He goes inside, outside. He's one of those players who can invert.
Had to pick up his dribble. And look at that defense. Redick comes over to double team and knock it away. Duke is really cranking it up defensively tonight.
Well, I had that big win over Maryland. I'll tell you, that was a big win because Maryland's playing outstanding right now. So look at Mike Krzyzewski lost Williams, Boozer, Dunleavy, 3 guys who would be on almost everyone's list if you asked people last year to pick 3 of the top 10 players in America.
Duke on a 10-2 run. Nelson, the only guy still with a field goal for Georgie Tech. The lead is mounted to 7. Duhon backs it out and then a runner at the baseline and got it.
Running one-hander, all about Kuzi years ago. That's even way before you. When Kuzi was shooting that leg with the knee up in the air. Number 14.
22-13, Georgia Tech. This is the most they've been down in the ball game.
In their last 3 losses in a row, they've been down double digits going into the halftime.
Bosh, he's got some range.
They got to get him some looks, Mike. He's too talented. He's multi-talented. He's got to get some looks, and he's got to want those looks by moving a little bit more offensively. I would bring the ball right into Bosh. I would challenge Bosh now to get a 3rd.
Clear out the lane this time. Jones goes in, lost the ball out of bounds. Dante Jones goes down hard. and turns it over to Georgie Tech.
Dante, the second transfer to play for Mike Krzyzewski. Take a look at Bosh now coming off the screen. There's a smooth left-handed triple threat position. Now it's going to back away. I mean, that is pretty, man. That is absolutely pretty. I saw a big man in the house today doing radio, Ed Pinkney. Remember when he started for Villanova? Started for Villanova, 85, when they shocked the world and beat Patrick Ewing and Georgetown, the Hoyas. Ole Massimino pitched that perfect game, Don Larson style.
This is the most stunning second half I ever saw.
Looked like they didn't miss a shot.
They didn't. They couldn't. Bosh fakes the three. Elder trying to get in the book, reach in and knocked out of bounds by Ewing.
Elder 18.9 a game against top 25 teams. Usually plays well against teams that are in the spotlight.
Right now he has Dante Jones on him.
That's not good.
No. Elder, little jump hook, hit it, and got the foul.
He's a versatile scorer. He can score from the perimeter, shooting the three. He can attack the basket. South, he's going to have a great career here. There's no doubt about it.
And Dante Jones got the foul. That's his first. Elder, the sophomore out of Madison, Georgia, averaging 15.8 points a game coming in.
Played at Morgan County High School. Was recruited not really heavily. Auburn showed a lot of interest. And Seton Hall. Hey, by the way, what about Louis Orr and the job he's doing with Seton Hall? They've won 7 in a row now. Now look at BJ. He's going to go inside. He says, come on, Dante, try to stop my little jump ball. Try to make like Deion Glover right there when he played here.
Elder misses the free throw, though. The lead is 5, 22-17.
This one's got to attack the basketball with dribble penetration. Usually a trademark of Duke offensively.
This is going to be a push on Nelson, his second, so the two big guys inside for Georgia Tech. Bosh and Nelson both have 2.
And the big problem is they don't get much productivity off that bench, especially in the second half of the year. As you look at Paul Hewitt, very popular here. And they're going to honor Bobby Cremins here in the last game. I think that's fantastic. 19 years, they're going to have Bobby Cremins Day. And really, a guy that really made a lot of that happen is Paul Hewitt.
Sheldon Williams, the freshman at the line. Hits the first one.
Played in high school with D'Angelo Alexander, who's now playing for Oklahoma, where they have the longest winning streak in America at home. Duke's got like 26 in a row at home.
Exactly.
Might be 27. I don't want to cheat him. I think it's 27.
No, it's 26, I believe.
Is it 26?
23-17 as we approach the 5-minute mark. Bosh got away inside.
Showed inside-outside ability. Bringing the ball down to the low post. I tell you, Chris Bosh got stardom all over him, man. He is going to be one special player.
The lead is down to 4. Oh, what a pretty reverse underneath by Sheldon Williams.
Williams says, hey, Diaper Dandy, anything you can do, I can do better. You're right, Mike. It was 26 in a row at home.
Jack, a lot of contact with Horvath. No foul, lost it out of bounds. I like the way this game is being officiated, even though the crowd's upset from time to time. They're letting them play.
There's Bosh right there with the jam. There's been a lot of fouls called. I mean, in the Louisville game recently, 58 fouls. They go to the line 42 for 58, Cincinnati. You had that game with Wake Forest where 8 players Duke, fouled out.
8 guys fouled out. One more overtime, and we'd had walk-ons deciding first place in the conference. Redick, who's already hit a couple of bombs from there, got another one.
Oh, he gets a square look. I mean, those are downtown Marietta, man. That might have been from Dunwoody.
Redick with 9. The lead is 9, and he has hit 3 bombs today.
It's great when you got that weapon from the trifecta.
Elder with a miss. Horvath takes it away from Schencher.
They're trying to find Redick. Why not? Why not? Try to find him, Mike. He's on fire, baby.
When a shooter like that gets hot, you better find him. It's 31-19. Georgia Tech jumps out to its biggest lead.
I'd run around and set screens all day for him. Oh, nobody back in transition.
Run out for Dante.
Back. Oh, nobody back. That's a no-no, baby.
33-19, and just like that, a 4-point game has exploded to 14.
Duke is a different basketball team than they were in the middle of the season. This team is playing with so much more confidence, playing on a defensive end, shot selection. Don't count them out come tournament time, my friends.
Almost another steal, an 8-0 run for the Blue Devils, and they have expanded their lead to 33-19 over Georgia Tech. J.J. Redick has hit 4 of those.
Ooh, is he on fire, Mike? Is he on fire?
Tomorrow night at 7, Judgment Week heats up as Dwayne Wade and Marquette take on Reese Gaines in Louisville in a crucial Conference USA matchup. At 8, Alexei Kovalev and the Rangers face off against Joe Thornton and the Bruins. Or Jocelyn Tebow and the Blackhawks battle Jeremy Roenick and the Flyers. At 9,
on ACC Wednesday, we'll talk about Syracuse and Pittsburgh trying to stay tied in the Big East West division, and too many teams on the bubble, right?
Boy, there's some who think the ACC may only get 3 teams, but it's hard to believe that if NC State got to 9 wins in the conference, they wouldn't get in.
We'll talk about all that and much more when we come back. Mike and Dick, back to you.
All right, Trey, it's 33-19 here. Judgment Week presented by Cisco Systems, and you mentioned something, Dick, about Duke would have another chance to get to a #1 seed this year. They were ranked first in the polls at one point this season. That's the 6th straight year that sometimes they were #1 in the rankings. That is just staggering.
That was a great basket they needed during the timeout by Lewis. You're right, Mike. They were #1 before they went to College Park and got beat by the Terps. In fact, 2 years in a row now, they were #1 going down to College Park and lost.
That's become a tremendous series. Redick way short on this 3.
It's a must right now. A must 237. They got to go on a little spurt here, Georgia Tech, to get a little momentum going in at halftime.
And Paul Hewitt's rolling the dice. He has both Bosh and Nelson on the court with those 2 personal fouls. Nice drive there for the bucket.
And he has to play them both as Jack showing his offensive aggressiveness. 2 big baskets by Lewis and Jack after the timeout.
Jack's learned to drive very, very well. Here's Dante Jones. There's a foul before the basket. ESPN will have continuing coverage of the World Golf Championships Accenture match play tomorrow and Friday at 2 Eastern, Saturday at 10:30 Eastern. Why don't you print out a bracket and watch all the upsets? It seems #1 and #2 never get to meet in that format. That's just the way it works.
You know, Mike, you talked about #1 seed. You know, you look at Duke and you don't hear their name mentioned as a potential #1 now, and I really think they can get in that situation. I mean, they were at St. John's, at Madison Square Garden, Florida State at home, at North Carolina, get hot in the tournament. They've won it 4 years in a row, and they can play themselves in. Right now, you got Kentucky, you got Arizona, and I think Oklahoma. And after that, it could be Florida. Florida's going to be in their hands. If they can beat Kentucky at home and beat Georgia on the road, they got a shot for #1 as well.
The best free throw shooter in the country just missed 1.
Wow.
Redick had only missed 5 out of 76 all year long.
You talk about a great free throw shooter. Just missed his first 2 after making about 34 in a row. Hollis Price down in Oklahoma, one of my favorite players.
Elder kicks it back outside, but kicks it right to the Duke bench, wide of Jarrett Jack.
Wide right, baby. Wide right. I heard that cry a little bit too much in football down at Florida State.
And Buffalo.
And Buffalo as well.
34-23.
C.Bosh trying to protect him now with those 2 fouls. What a talent he is, though. Those long arms, range. He's just got to be more aggressive offensively in getting his shot.
Robert Brooks will come in for Georgia Tech in the last 2 minutes.
Played in high school with Jason Richardson out in Saginaw, Michigan. Went to the finals, got beat by Lavelle Blanchard, now playing for Tommy Amica, the former Duke, Michigan.
Williams against Nelson. Nelson goes down. No call. Basket Williams.
They're starting to get that post presence inside, which they didn't have earlier this year, giving them a little bit more balance offensively.
Jarrett Jack slicing down the lane and crashes to the floor after being fouled.
Jack trying to create a foul opportunity for himself. You know, I heard Jay Billis talking about, and I couldn't agree more about North Carolina State, about getting in the tournament. I think they're going to get in, Mike. You win 9 games in the ACC. I think they're getting in despite losing as they did to Temple of Massachusetts.
Big foul there on Williams. That's his third.
I think it was a major win for them on the road, beating North Carolina, because they've been inept on the road, North Carolina State.
Mike Krzyzewski told us something last week, and I think he was absolutely dead on. He said to hold teams in the ACC to that standard of being 500 is not fair because it is a balanced conference. You have to play home and home. Now you've got the big super conferences with 12, 14 teams. They don't play that round robin, and they've got teams at the bottom they can feast on.
Well, you know, like in the Big East, you got a Notre Dame, doesn't play a Villanova, doesn't play a St. John's, doesn't play a Miami. I said they got to go back to where they play everybody at least once.
Well, how about this? Georgia Tech has played Syracuse more in the last 2 years than UConn has.
Syracuse really put the hurt on them earlier this year.
Dante Jones, nice lean-in runner coming up on the Mass Mutual halftime report. Trey Wingo and Jay Billis, who will win the ACC, waits with the lead right now. Our Big East battles, and how strong is the Big Ten this season?
What is going on in the Big Ten? I want to hear Trey and Jay. I mean, it's unbelievable. Indiana just gets blown out. But you know what? Indiana's going to the tournament. They had 5 great wins. The bottom line is their resume is very strong, and I really believe they'll win enough to go. They got Minnesota, they play Penn State, they play Iowa.
Elder, nice spin move over Redick, and that cuts the lead to 12.
Elder's a big-time scorer. He's got scoring ability.
Redick was the focus of our Duke Star Watch at the beginning of the game, and certainly he has been the big offensive performer. He has 13. He's hit 4 threes.
Made 4 big threes to give him momentum.
It's about 2-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock.
Smart managing of the ball right now. Going to take it to where they're going to get the last shot. Good shot, too.
Dante Jones gets the beauty. It's a 3.
Good shot.
It's 41-26.
Solid performance by Duke. They bounce back from a subpar start offensively, step it up offensively, and created by a good defensive effort.
Redick, big first half, 13 points, 4 out of 5 from three-point range. Bosh struggled mainly because of that foul trouble. That's the story here in Atlanta, 41-26. Back to Trey in the studio.
All right, guys, the catch, there's the rotation, great arc, nothing but nylon, baby, tickle the twine. Incredible performance and a real great spurt by JJ.
Ed Nelson did everything he could to keep him Georgia Tech in the game in the first half, but he needs help from Bosh and Elder.
And also Marvin Lewis. None of those guys have stepped up.
And Duke starts the second half with the power jam by Sanders.
Any kind of point production they get out of Sanders is certainly a positive, a plus. They got Sanders now playing Bosh. There's a switch up on top.
And Duke comes out very aggressively in that man-to-man. Elder, who averages 19 points a game against top 20 teams, has 4 in the first half. Bosh also has 4 in the first half. Georgia Tech shot a sickly 32% from the floor, took 2 3-point shots, missed them both. And because of Redick, Duke hit 5 of 8.
Well, you know, Duke came back strong after a slow start offensively, shot 54%. And normally Georgia Tech at home is a brilliant three-point shooting team, shooting 44% at home.
Duhon kicks it out to Dante Jones. He can't hit. Williams, offensive rebound. Great move by Sheldon Williams.
Well, Sheldon Williams giving them that power and their strength on the interior, something they lacked earlier this year. Good timeout by Paul Hewitt. You know, I'm going to say this, Mike, and I really believe it. I hope that Chris Bosh, there's some rumors that he might be thinking of the NBA. I hope and pray he comes back to school because he really could use another year to get stronger physically.
The Georgia Tech Booster Club is with you, Dick.
Judgment Week presented by Cisco Systems all week long on ESPN and ESPN2.
So,
I'm thinking about buying out one of my competitors. Trust for the grandchildren. Jill and I are separating.
Remarrying. Giving some money to my alma mater.
And I'll be inheriting a pretty substantial sum.
Jerry? Just thinking about where I'd be if I had to do this on my own.
Building wealth begins with a relationship, and our financial advisors know it. UBS Payne Weber.
Duke opening up a 19-point margin over Georgia Tech, 45-26.
I'll tell you, the development of Sheldon Williams has really been a great asset to this club. He has elevated his game from the start of the year. And that's what you like to see in young players. Get better and better as the season progresses.
Georgia Tech desperate for a basket. Can't get one.
And not only is he scoring, Mike, he gives him a good, solid defensive player on the interior.
Bosh, nice pick. They push it ahead to Lewis. Back to Jared Jack. Good drive by Jack.
That's going to be a good-looking player here. Remember, he's a diaper dandy. He's getting better and better with more experience. Started off the year slowly. He's got to work a little bit more on his perimeter shot.
45-28. Georgia Tech has had very few easy buckets tonight. Something that Duke defense has denied them.
That's Chris Duhon really doing a good job leading the club, passing the basketball, not scoring like they thought he would.
Jack on the run. Lewis to Nelson. Nice head fake. Nelson got Williams in the air and scored.
A little lack of focus by Duke in the last two possessions. I don't think Mike Krzyzewski's going to be a happy guy.
A dozen for Nelson to go with 6 boards. The lead's cut to 15. And the Tech student section come to its feet. ESPN's NBA Wednesday will continue after this game as the Utah Jazz goes to Minnesota to take on the Timberwolves. Both teams working toward the postseason. That's NBA Wednesdays on ESPN. Tonight at 9.
Our guy, Brad Nessler, from here in Atlanta down here, going to call the action.
Williams lost it on the way in. Good interior defense again for Georgia Tech. Jack hesitates and tries a runner. Missed it. There's Nelson again.
I'll tell you one thing. He's giving him a great effort on the inside. He's hustling and scrapping. I mean, he can make my old John Madden team the way he's scrapping on the interior. But some other people got to step up, Mike.
14 points, 7 boards for Nelson. Sanders. Oh, that extends his range.
Wow. Anytime they can get a jump shot out of Casey Sanders from the wing. Wow, that was a big one because
it's a bonus.
Momentum was getting away from Duke. They looked like they were losing a little focus.
Jack penetrates again, goes out to Elder. Jack, what a move at the baseline, and then throw it off of Bosh. Got a little too fancy at the end. Redick. Nice spin. Nelson hustles back on defense.
Okay, they got a kid coming in next year, Duke, Luol Deng. He is going to be one of those special superstars that Duke doesn't really have with this current crop. And I'm talking about a kind of kid like a Williams and a Grant Hill and a Battier. Special, Mike. Every adjective I've heard from people to describe him is can't miss. Committed to Duke from out of Blairstown Academy in New Jersey. Georgia Tech's got a great kid sitting out. Will Bynum, transfer from out of Arizona from way of Chicago to Windy City.
Started a lot of games out there. Duhon, long three.
They ever get him going offensively to add another part to this club. Wow. Because he has struggled shooting the ball this year.
Bosh directing traffic. Wants Elder to come out and get the ball. He does. Muhammad is in, so they go with 3 guards. Nelson's been the offense tonight. Normally, they don't look to him. Only averages 7.5 points a game.
Really have a tough time getting looked.
Nelson again.
Nice diagonal pass to create that opportunity from Elder down to Nelson. Elder with the great look, the good vision. Chris Bosh, as most young players, has to really adopt to the college game and learn how to get free. That's part of his game that he's got to really work at.
Nelson has 16. His season high is 17. His career high is 18. Sanders didn't get the roll, but got the rebound. Put it up, blocked by Bosh.
Well, you don't want to bring the ball down. When you're 6'11", you bring the ball to the deck, you make yourself 5'11". All you young big guys out there, you don't want to bring that ball to the deck. Take it up strong. Use a pump fake or a head fake.
Bosh against Sanders, goes baseline and held. That will be 3 on Casey Sanders. Mike Krzyzewski already had Nick Horvath up to try to get him in. Now he'll replace him with 3 fouls. Judgment week. And Duke hitting from the outside. They've got the lead at 16.
Meanwhile, Meanwhile, in Dallas, a CE
A&M in Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse. Remember Wayne Simeon out earlier in this game for the Jayhawks. Kirk Heinrich to the hole. Kansas rolling away. Jeff and Mike, back to you.
All right, Trey, we're used to those familiar names from college basketball, the teams that always have it. Dick, how about teams like UCLA, Carolina, and Indiana? Teams that have always had it, but right now don't.
Well, Indiana under 500 in the conference, but as Jay Billis said, I really believe they'll get in the tournament. They got 3 games coming up they can win with Minnesota and Iowa and Penn State on the road. However, you talk about North Carolina, as you see another jump shot going down from Ewing on the wing. Duke really executing well. You look at North Carolina, 14-13 after a great start. They're just so young. They're just young, freshman, sophomore dominated, and the bottom line, don't have enough experience on that club.
And how about UCLA, Dick? That's just a disaster.
Oh, it's been an unbelievable disaster. In preseason, top 15 in America. I'll tell you how embarrassing it is. It's so humiliating and so embarrassing. Forget NCAA. Forget NIT. They may not make the Pac-10 tournament. The top 8 get in the tournament, 9 and 10 don't. Can you believe it? And it's in L.A. It's in L.A.
That would be the...
Oh, that would be unbelievable.
Ewing tries a tough wraparound pass. Williams gets it in the lane, tries to step through and lost it.
You think about shooting the trifecta. That's getting the trifecta. No NCAA, no NIT, and no Pac-10. I can't believe it. And the tournament is in Los Angeles at the Staples. Look at Duke shooting the trifecta, 7 for 11. I mean, those numbers are pretty nice, 7 and 11.
They have, under Mike Krzyzewski's tremendous run, they have always been an exceptional three-point shooting team. The month of February has not been kind to them from the outside this year, but they are getting better lately. Nelson lost his balance and went down, an easy block for Williams.
You know, also doing a great job defensively, Duke, on the perimeter, because normally Georgia Tech, especially at home, is an outstanding three-point shooting team. They haven't made one yet tonight.
And Elder, when he's taken them, has been way off. Back into Nelson, out to Bosh. He'll take a 19-footer. I still think that's a worse shot in college basketball. You're just inside the three-point line.
Exactly. You got to know where that line is. Rick Pitino gets all over his players if they shoot from within in that line. He wants them aware of that line.
It's only 6 points for Bosh tonight. We'll have continuing coverage of the Accenture Match Play Championships tomorrow and Friday at 2. Saturday at 10:30 Eastern. Tiger Woods was a winner today in the first round. He will meet the 8th seed in his bracket, KJ Choi, tomorrow, who played very well a week ago. And that is such a difficult thing to do, is win match after match. Rarely do the top guys meet in the final.
You know, the bottom line is, when you look here at Georgia Tech, they just can't get a lot of looks for Bosh. They're doing a great job finding him on the floor, but you could just see his talent. I mean, if you've been around the game of basketball for years, you watch him go up and down the floor, you watch his soft touch, and you just know this kid could be an unbelievably special player.
He is as smooth an impact player as I've seen come into college basketball in a long, long time.
Well, you think about those numbers, leading the conference in field goal percentage, leading them in block shots,
second and rebound,
and 15 points a game. I mean, the kid has done it all this year. But it seems when they play Duke, he really has a tough time. Gets himself in foul trouble.
That's happened to a few people. Dante Jones missed, tipped. Jared Jack will come out with it. Fans under the basket wanted a foul call there. Nelson muscled his way, and Nelson may have gotten away with one.
I'll tell you, Nelson knows how to get post position on the inside. The crowd really came here with an idea to really explode and give him a great lift. But Duke has certainly quieted him down. They got the swarm, they call them, the students down on the baseline.
Nelson has just matched his career high 18 points. To win games like this, you need somebody like Nelson to step up, but then you assume Elder and Bosh are also going to get theirs.
Well, your stars got to come to play. Your stars got to perform. And today their stars have not given them the kind of performance. They've not been efficient. When you talk Lewis and Elder.
Jack to Bosh. Nelson!
I'll tell you, Nelson having a big-time day. He's saying, come on, somebody else, help me out.
Nelson with a career-high 20 points. 9 rebounds. What a performance by the sophomore from Fort Lauderdale. He has been absolutely brilliant.
You know, Mike, it's down to 13. You're on a roll at 11:58 on the clock. You knock down a couple threes, and you got to see yourself a heck of a game. And they got to credit Nelson that they're even hanging around. Take a look at the big guy on the inside. There he is working on the offensive boards. Bosh misses the dunk. And there's Nelson hanging around with the left hand in the conversion.
When he came out of Fort Lauderdale last year, he ran into as big a guys as he had ever seen in his short basketball career. He started shooting fadeaway jump shots. They really had to work with him to use his strength to go back in and muscle up against these guys. And ever since then, he has become a factor inside.
I was watching their coaching staff, Boy Hewitt and Dean Keener and Willie Reese and Cliff Warren and company, really pumping them up in that timeout. Take a look at Nelson versus the rest of the club. 8 for 14, the rest of the club 8 for 28.
And they each, the rest of the team in Nelson, have 20.
I tell you, here's Ewing, who to me is one of my all-roll age specialists, one of the real brilliant 6 men in college basketball.
53-40, and Redick, that's a good call. Redick pushed off with his left arm, trying to keep Georgia Tech from getting the ball. The foul on Redick is his first. And we got a timeout. The lead down to 13 with 11:42 to go. Hair Dick could only dream of.
I had hair like that at one time. I really did. You should see my high school year.
Not. Oh. Here's why this game is so important. Look at Maryland and Duke. They're tied 1 game behind Wake Forest in the loss column. Duke trying to keep pace and still with a chance to win. Georgia Tech at 5-7. The Jackets trying to get within 1 game of 500 with 3 games left in the conference.
I think we're looking at 4 teams in this conference in the NCAA tournament.
Nelson triple team. Dante Jones the block from behind, and look at Nelson up.
I think the 3 teams up on top, obvious, Wake Forest, Maryland, and Duke, and I think North Carolina State will be the 4th team. I think the road to get there for the other clubs is too much of a hurdle, unless they get hot and win the ACC tournament.
Should Georgia Tech lose this game and win its last 3, they would finish at 500 in the ACC. They'd be over 500 overall. That's not good.
Oh, nice pass right there. There's contact.
Williams blocked McHenry from behind. Let's see who gets the foul, and it will be McHenry. So if they get to 500 in the conference, that's still not going to be good.
Well, you know, there's a chance, obviously, but it'll be a decision. What could hurt them, as you watch there, a little touch pass, moving the basketball, losses out of conference. They lost a heartbreaker to Tennessee.
Yeah.
When you think about it, they lost 3 games on the last possession.
Minnesota.
Clemson, Minnesota, and Tennessee was a real backbreaker. And John Higgins hit a shot. As you look at another double-double out of Sheldon Williams. It was 0.5 of a second. And he hit one from half court with Tennessee to beat
Killer. Sheldon Williams, the difference he has made since the first Georgia Tech game is Bosh comes back out, Nelson goes out, and he gets a nice hand. Boy, he deserves it. He is the reason they're not getting waxed in this game. Williams short on a jumper, but an offensive rebound. Ewing.
You got to block out. You can't give him a second opportunity when you're down 13.
Now Ewing out of the corner.
There's Ewing, one of the best 6 men in the game, knocking a trifecta down.
As we approach the 11-minute mark, the lead has grown again to 16. Duke has led by as many as 19 in this game. Georgia Tech has chipped away at it a couple of times.
What a big 3. I mean, that was a big one by Ewing, but what a mistake. Nobody blocked out for Georgia Tech. You're down 13. They missed 2 free throws, and you don't come up with the basketball. That's a killer.
Bosh still held to 6 points. He's been in and out because of foul trouble. Muhammad hits the free throw.
He's a great athlete, Muhammad. He can really get up and down the floor, but you got to make shots.
And you got to make free throws. He's shooting 43% this year, even though he shot the ball very well in practice. And those 2 look good.
I saw a guy not miss a shot when I was watching the warm-ups before the game. Clarence Moore was just playing by himself out here, who with the team basically for personal reasons. He would have been worth really a few more games to them in terms of winning. I really believe that. And giving them some experience.
He'd have helped them a lot. Ewing, who hit his last 3, drills another one.
I tell you, he had a great performance against NC State. Ewing had 18 points. You can see why. He's one of my roll 8 specialists. I mean, he's one of the best 6 men in the game.
Ewing has 9. Jarrett Jack with a 3. Not really his shot. Bosh trying to keep it alive and does. And now Bosh goes up strong and draws the foul.
And that's what he has to do. Get in the weight room, get himself physically a lot stronger, and he'll become a dominant player. You talk about freshmen are dominating. I don't know if you've seen Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah.
He has been incredible.
Big play.
You know, I respect Mike DeCourcy a great deal at Sporting News, and he wrote the other day, he said, you better consider him, people, in terms of All-American with the things he's doing up at Syracuse.
Bosh goes to the line. 3-time ACC Rookie of the Week. And even though he's only 210 pounds, he is a very tough kid inside.
He's got great timing and blocking shots, can rebound, utilize those long arms, and he's got that magical gift that he can also go to the perimeter.
Got the kind of body he could add 20, 25 pounds to that and not lose anything.
No doubt whatsoever. Today, with the amazing job they do in the weight room, the training that they have, the specialists working with players, a lot different than when you and I were there, Mike.
Yeah, but we can gain weight now, boy.
I didn't get in the locker room. I wasn't good enough.
Dante Jones, and he just sailed down the lane with no one even bothering.
Well, you could have put a Mack truck right down there. Nobody playing on the defensive end. You got to get stops if you want to get back in the game.
Elder got his own rebound. B.J. Elder, who has been very silent in this game. 61-46, Duke pushing the tempo.
And the one thing Duke really does well, they don't get conservative with the lead. They continue to attack the basket.
You down to 4 or 5 minutes to go.
Are you serious?
Redick knocks down another one.
Are you serious? You give Nick Ed a look. It's automatic. I said it once, and I'll say it again, Mike. And some people may not agree. When it's all said and done, he will go down as the best shooter ever to wear a uniform. Not the best player, the best shooter to ever wear a uniform at Duke University.
He has hit 5 out of 6 threes tonight and has 16 points.
J.J. Redick, take a look at his form right here. And he doesn't get a lot of open looks. Dribbles out, squares his body. Howard Garfinkel told me about him 2 years ago from 5-star camp. He said, I have not seen a shooter like J.J. Redick in many a year. And once again, Mr. Garfinkel, you are on the money.
Go back to a point I made earlier. If he hits 6 out of 10, you're disappointed because you can't believe the other 4 didn't go in.
I know. It's almost like when Ted Williams used to come at bat. You expect him to get a hit every time. 2 for 4. He said, what's going on, Ted?
Ted's in a slump. Duhan got caught up in the air with nowhere to go. Bosh reached in. Steal for Georgia Tech. The lead is 18. Muhammad spins it out of control. You're absolutely right. Redick threw the charge.
Totally out of control. Trying to come back in a hurry. They had their real shot when they were down 13, and Duke missed those two free throws, and all of a sudden Ewing hits that big baseline 3. Ewing also hit, you and I did the game, the big 3 that broke the back of Maryland in the last minute. Remember that when J.J. Redick gave up that made the extra pass?
Full court pressure against Duhan, who very rarely turns it over. He has the best assist-to-turnover ratio in the ACC.
And that's what they want out of him. Leadership, playing the point guard, did an adjustment after playing last year with Jason Williams.
Duke taking its time now with 8:37 on the turning clock. They're up by 18. That 3 forced a little bit.
Yeah, that's been his problem, why his percentage is down. He has a tendency to take some bad shots. That was not a good shot by Duhan.
Bosh will try. He was hit afterward. Paul Hewitt and Georgia Tech wanted a foul call as well.
What a touch he has. He doesn't get enough shots. He doesn't get himself free for enough opportunities.
Well, he is a 50% long-range shooter this year. ESPN's NBA Wednesdays will continue after our game as the Utah Jazz goes to Minnesota to take on the Timberwolves. That's tonight at 9 when we are done here at the Thriller Dome in Atlanta. You'll see Kevin Garnett in his last 9 games. 28 points, 14 rebounds, 5.5 assists a game.
You know, Kobe's been sensational, but Kobe certainly has help inside from Shaquille O'Neal. That's why I said if I were voting, my MVP would be Kevin Garnett. But Bosh, there's Bosh going to knock the throw. Look at him right here. He's going to let one fly. And there's the contact. Should have been 1 for 5 shooting the 3 tonight. Georgia Tech, the first one they made. Duke is 10 for 15. 9+ from the three-point range. What a difference that is.
Bosh now into double figures. He has 11 at 64-49. Plenty of time to go, 8:06. But Georgia Tech needs to hit just about everything from here on in.
And they got to get some stops. They got to really come up with stops. They have not been able to come up with a big stop when they needed one.
Duhan uncharacteristically picked up his dribble and got in trouble. Forced to call the timeout with 7:57 to go. This league is so young, and the coaches have done such a great job of bringing in freshman talent, and they have done it up and down this league. J.J. Redick, as Dick said, one of the great three-point shooters, maybe of all time by the time he's done. Sheldon Williams has given them that great presence inside. You've seen Bosh tonight, how smooth he is as a rebounder and a shooter. Jarrett Jack has done so well in the last 6 or 7 games for Tech. Raymond Felton, who is a great point guard, and Rashad McCants, who at one time was leading the ACC in scoring.
And it doesn't show right there Justin Gray or Eric Williams either. As you look at the Duke Frosh right here, Redick and Williams with 16 and 10. I'll tell you one thing. You look in this conference, you mentioned about young players. They've lost so many great players early to the draft. As you see the jam inside.
Sanders just got away from everybody for an easy one tonight. Bosh and Jack have combined for 17 points.
You know, we talked about an all-ACC team earlier. What about this team? You think they'd have been all-ACC? Chris Wilcox, Michael Dunleavy, Carlos Boozer, Jason Williams, and Roger Mason. They all went to the NBA. They were all underclassmen.
You can just take the 3 guys that left from Maryland and from Duke, and you can start your own NBA franchise and win a few.
I know one thing. You and I don't want to play 2-on-2 against Nessler and Walton after their games, because I'm going to let you guard Walton. I'm going to guard Nessler.
Thanks a lot. I think Big Red would just be laughing too hard to score. Duhan got pushed on the way in. Jarrett Jack, very smart play, got a hand in the middle of his back, gave him a little shove, and nobody saw it. 7:08 to go in the game. Duke by 17.
So, set up a department meeting for tomorrow and put in a call to the client. Get them up to speed. Anything else?
Here's a thought. Instead of saving money by not...
Presentation of NCAA. Presented by Staples. Get back time. Go to Staples. And in part by the BMW. Driving machine.
Duke on top 66-49 with 7:08 to go in the game. Coming in at 12 and 11, this was a must-win for Georgia Tech, considering their record. But you look at the other side, it was a must-win for Duke. If they entertain any thoughts of getting a #1 seed in the NCAA tournament, they've got to win the rest.
Yeah, they got to win all of them, because right now, Florida, a little bit in the driver's seat. If they can go out and they can beat Georgia and beat Kentucky, it's in their hands. I mean, Kentucky, certainly in Oklahoma and Arizona, look like #1s. And Mike Krzyzewski, I mean, we've sung his praises. 4 consecutive years winning the ACC tournament. Incredible. When in the last 12 tournament games, 10 of them by double figures. People wonder where we get all those stats. I mean, Allison George and John Jackson, they do a great job as SIDs. In fact, we want to really thank all the SIDs across America for providing so much information for us.
You know, they work so hard, and they
really do.
Hardly ever get any publicity except when something goes wrong, and they treat us beautifully. Nelson gets a breather, and well-deserved. 20 points, 9 boards for Ed Nelson, the 20 points of career high. Ewing dribbles right through a double team. Nice vision. Got it to Jones.
I'll tell you, Ewing's been so solid, relegated to coming off the bench. He's really like a starter on the floor.
Redick got free underneath against Lewis. Smart play, got it back outside to Duhan.
Nice ball movement, excellent spacing, creating a foul situation.
Bosh reaches around and committed his third. Remember, he got 2 in the first less than 4.5 minutes of the ball game, and has done a good job not picking up a third until now.
You know what happens, Mike, also, when you put a Duke uniform on right now, or Kansas, or any of the great programs, Arizona, Kentucky, kids are expected to win. They have to adopt to the system, adopt to the winning mentality, and it just rubs off on everybody. You're expected to win, and they come out and they play. Just like the Yankees in the pinstripes.
Ewing kicks it out to Redick. He has been unbelievable tonight. Redick knocks down another. He has 19 points. He's hit 6 out of 7 threes.
6 out of 7 threes. Somebody better call the fire chief up, man, in Atlanta. He's burning down the nets.
And the lead has grown to 20, the biggest of the night for the Blue Devils. Bosh had that one roll around the rim, and Sanders with another rebound.
I just hope Chris Bosh listens to the right people and decides to be a member of his Georgie Tech team next year, and he can lead them to the promised land. Right now,
Duke is so good at this offense, Dick.
Yeah, they really execute that well. Spread the floor just like that. Open up the court. Oh.
McHenry undercut Ewing. Boy, he ran right under him. Mike Krzyzewski's really upset about it, too.
Ewing
and he should be.
Averaging 11 points a game. What a drive. I mean, explosive to the basket. Played in the same backcourt with T.J. Ford at Texas. He's a kid can start from many schools, man. He's got great rise. He can shoot the 3. Fortunately,
he went down hard, and McHenry right under him. 11 points for Ewing. Fortunately, he's up.
I thought we're going to have a great game here today. When you looked at the scores of Georgia Tech at home, beating people by 20, Virginia, North Carolina State by 24. Looking at their shooting percentages and preparing for the game, I thought we're going to have one heck of a battle. This tells me this Duke team has gotten really better, Mike. Blowing out Virginia at Virginia.
Markedly.
Exactly. Beating a good Maryland team, even though it was at home. Maryland's playing brilliantly right now.
And 2 things have changed in the last, 2.5 weeks. They have shot better, and I think they've shot better because their defense has improved dramatically.
Yeah, they're really playing better on the defensive end. And Dante Jones has been their star, and Duhan's been their leader, their guy that's the orchestra leader distributing the ball. Has not shot as well as he's capable.
But if you get the inside play of Williams and you get the shooting of Redick outside, doesn't have to be as hot as tonight. That's too much to ask for. Then this is going to be a team to deal with.
I'll tell you, a guy like J.J. Redick, you think a guy like Shaquille O'Neal would like him on his side of the floor? Take a look at the
Duke has left out of conference, then Florida State and at North Carolina. They have lost all 4 of their games on the road in the ACC. And then, of course, the tournament in Greensboro as we go back to our 50th anniversary of the ACC tournament, back to where it all started in Greensboro, North Carolina. Boy, am I looking forward to that. What fun.
What a conference. I can't wait to speak at their Saturday brunch at the tournament with all the greats gathered. It'll be a lot of fun. I'll tell you, John Swafford, Freddie Barracat, and that whole office do a phenomenal job.
Shencher, a little jump hook, can't hit it, trying to keep it alive. Ewing went down again, and here's the runner by Dante Jones. Let's check and see if Ewing's all right. He appears to be.
I tell you, he's taking some hits like a running back. I tell you, Dante Jones just explodes to the basket. Only the second transfer to play for Mike Krzyzewski. Both out of the Big East. McLeod and Dante Jones from out of Rutgers.
17 points tonight for Dante Jones, and the 4th foul on Chris Bosh. Going to get Nelson back in the ball game. I hope this young man gets a double-double before the night is over. He needs 1 rebound for it. He has certainly earned that kind of recognition. He has just been brilliant for Georgia Tech as Bosh will sit with his 4th.
Bosh has really struggled against Duke in the 2 situations. Both times, I really believe, mentally gets down because of foul trouble. They can't get into the flow, the rhythm of the game. So much about basketball is rhythm. You look at J.J. Redick right now. He's in a rhythm. He's in a flow. Like my partner, Mike Patrick's always in a flow. He's got all the verbs coming out. He's absolutely in a flow. It's been such a pleasure working with you all year, buddy.
Thank you, Richard. Mohammed, nice reverse.
You and I will hook up again until we see each other at the ACC tournament. I got a few stops since then, though. Lawrence, Kansas, Lubbock, Texas, Athens, Georgia, and Louisville tomorrow. I can't wait to see Rick Pitino down at Freedom Hall. ESPN 2, 8 o'clock against Marquette. That'll be one heck of a battle.
Get Charlottesville and Durham left. That's it. Georgia Tech will be at Virginia next Wednesday. That'll be a big game for both teams. Might decide once and for all who is out. They're running by Duhan.
Duhan getting in the 3-second area. Little floater in the lane. Virginia's been an enigma to me. I thought they were going to be outstanding. You know, they beat Kentucky earlier this year.
Yes, they did.
Really?
One night they looked great. The next night, not so great. Nelson tries to go to Schencher. Williams had good position on him.
A lot of people filing out. I guess you can't blame them when you look at the score right now, 75-51. It's a blowout.
They know it's over. 3:14 to go.
Introducing new body wash from Old Spice.
When I walk through a jam, no one knows who I am. Put my love to the test, and I missed the success.
It has a dual action formula, so you'll get really clean, smell really great.
Hey, Ben. Need help with your anatomy homework?
You!
New body wash from Old Spice. Spice things up.
Hey, America, you think your family's funny? We found 8 families who believe their lives are funny enough to be a sitcom. From sisters with hot flashes to hot twin sisters, ex-punk rockers to garage banders, Mr. Mom to Manic Mom, and coupon clippers to hillbillies. The competition is fierce in this crazy family feud, but only one household will win the chance to fly to Hollywood and star in their very own sitcom. My Life is a Sitcom, Monday at 8, 7 Central on ABC Family Channel.
Trey Wingo here. Let's update you with what's coming up next on ESPN. KG looking for a 15th straight home win against the Jazz. Mike and Dick, back to you.
All right, Trey, we only have 3:14 to go here. Number 5, Duke, is leading Georgia Tech now by 24.
I'll tell you, Duke's done a great job defensively, shutting down the perimeter. That was really one of their priorities before the game, and they did a phenomenal job.
Last 4 or 5 games, Dick, their defense looks like it used to look, not the way it looked earlier this year.
I mean, they play 4 guards at times. I read a great article today by Luciana Chavez. She does a tremendous job on in Raleigh about the versatility of Ewing and the 4 guards. Dockery's played well for them over the last few games. And I think it's the development of the big man inside that has really, really helped them immensely. Williams' development has made their perimeter people that much better.
You know, this is going to be the 20th win for Duke. They will be 20-4 when this game is over. Mike Krzyzewski lost arguably 3 of the best 10 players in college basketball last year. And what does he do? He's 20-4 with a couple more to go in the regular season than the ACC tournament and the NCAA tournament.
You know,
he is just remarkable.
Mikey has 7 years of 30 or more wins. Nobody else has more than 4, and that includes John Wooden, Bob Knight, Jim Calhoun, Adolph Rupp, Nolan Richardson, and Jerry Tarkanian, and Roy Williams. Can you believe that?
Remarkable. The way he has dominated the ACC in the last few years is virtually unthinkable.
And then people wonder why you sing their praises. What is there not to praise? What is there not to praise?
Maryland is so good at this, and they have worked so hard at it that when it comes down to the end of games, they are just very difficult to control. They shoot the free throws so well, or do things like that at the end of a possession.
They execute so well offensively, manage the clock. Ewing another big shot again. One of my premier 6 men.
ESPN will have more of the World Golf Championships Accenture match play tomorrow and Friday at 2 Eastern, Saturday at 10:30 in the morning. Tiger Woods will face KJ Choi in his second-round match tomorrow. A lot of the favorites advance. Guys like David Duval were knocked out in the first round. And it doesn't take much as Bosh, his night is over at the 158 mark, had those 2 quick fouls early, just the way he did at Duke. and certainly not his best performance.
And that really took him out of the game mentally. I really believe that. Finally, a three goes down.
Too little, too late as Lewis hits a bomb. He has 5 points, and it's 77-54.
Well, Lewis and Elder didn't make shots, and that's been their problem on the road. Why they've struggled. They haven't been able to make shots.
And they're 2 of the top 3 long-range shooters in the conference. That goes back to your point about Duke's defense against the three.
Yeah, really came out and attacked the shooters. Made it difficult for them to get a lot of good looks.
The worst Georgia Tech had done on offense all year was 57 points.
Wow.
Check it, that was 57 against North Carolina State. They have 54 right now against Duke.
Duke also has an excellent passing team. They pass the ball so well.
Nelson, give him 22.
He's done his part today. You can see why he's earned that starting role again.
And more.
He really has stepped up. When they went on that spurt in the first half, it was J.J. Redick getting on fire, knocking down those 4 threes that I really believe totally broke the back of Georgia Tech. Look at him spread the court. Great spacing, then use the high post screen. Spacing these 15, 17 feet apart so he can't get help. Use the screen. Screener steps away.
Right now, Duke is so loaded at guard. I mean, they've got 4 guys who can come in there and play.
And they got 2 coming in next year in terms of perimeter players that Shenser scores. Dang and Chris Humphreys from out of Minnesota.
77-58. Georgia Tech will fall to 12-12. Duke will go to 20-4.
Solid performance by Duke. Offensively, defensively, struggled a little bit early. Georgia Tech was playing an excellent game defensively, but then all of a sudden Redick got hot and broke the game up.
There's J.J. Redick, the Cisco Systems player of the game. 19 points, hit 6 out of 7 3-point shots, and I think one of them touched the rim.
I tell you, Mike, you're right. The one thing you and I have talked about over the years, how the 3-point shot has revolutionized the game. And here's another example today. The 3 goes down for Duke. It doesn't go down for Georgia Tech. It changes the whole complexion of the game.
Duke wins number 1,700 in its storied history. Kentucky, North Carolina, and Kansas, the only 3 schools to win more.
Well, Duke over the years, 13 Final Fours. Only UCLA and Carolina have more. Solid performance. Boy, really did a great job offensively and defensively, the Duke Blue Devils.
The final score from Atlanta, Duke 77, Georgia Tech 58. For Dick Vitale and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Thanks for watching, everybody. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now let's join Trey Wingo in the studio.
All right, guys, thanks very much. So Duke becomes the 4th school in Division I history to win their 1700th basketball game. Don't forget, we got NBA basketball coming up in just a little bit. Utah taking on Minnesota. Meanwhile, more college basketball for you. Pittsburgh trying for a much more modest goal than 1,700 career.
What the spurt in the first half, when you knocked down 4 big threes, really was the difference in the game. Gave your club a lot of momentum, JJ.
Well, the guys on the team and coach all say that my 3-point shots are always momentum shots. So when I get in the rhythm and knock a few down, it usually gives us a run. We got a cushion there in the first half, and we build on that cushion in the second half.
I'll tell you, your club seems to be getting better right now, progressing defensively. What has been the unbelievable play of Sheldon Williams? What has that meant to your club?
It's meant so much to our club. We feel comfortable throwing the ball inside now. I thought Casey played a great game tonight, too, on the inside, and that gives us such a boost. It opens things up for the perimeter, and, you know, our guys knock down shots, and the inside play well. When that happens, we're a great basketball team.
I'll tell you one thing, you guys are progressing at the right time, and I'll tell you this, Daniel Ewing giving you a big lift off the bench.
He played great in the second half. You know, he knocked down three huge three-pointers and had that nasty dunk.
Well, congratulations. Hey, Mike, another great performance by the Duke Blue Devils, sparked by J.J. Redick.
All right, Dick, with a 77-58 win, as you see some of Redick's heroics from the outside, the updated ACC standings show Duke creeping ever closer to Wake Forest. They are still one behind in the loss column. Georgia Tech drops to 5-8. They have 3 games left in the ACC, a couple of them on the road, trying to get back to the 500 mark in the conference, but it may not be enough. That's the story from Atlanta. Now let's join Utah and Minnesota.
It is cold in Minnesota, like 10 degrees.
For the 193rd